I know like people who start reading for me, if they start reading by reading Layla, they would have Layla as their favorite book. If they start reading for me Heaven on Earth, Jannah ala al-Ard, it will be their favorite book.
Yeah.
But probably because The Bride of Amman is the first one, and people start reading for me by reading The Bride of Amman, that's why, probably. That's the reason.
Hi, friends. This is Read and Write with Natasha podcast. My name is Natasha Tynes, and I'm an author and a journalist. In this channel, I talk about the writing life, review books, and interview authors. Hope you enjoy the journey. Hi, everyone, and welcome to another episode of Read and Write with Natasha. We have with us today Fadi Zaghmout, who's a Jordanian author and sexual freedoms and body rights advocate known for his impactful writing. He holds a master's degree in creative writing and critical thinking from Sussex University in the UK. His influential novel, The Bride of Amman, explores themes of sexuality and societal norms. Zaghmout has authored 4 other novels, including 2 science fiction works envisioning a future where aging is defeated. Wow. Fadi, thank you for joining us today. I'm a huge fan of your work. I read a number of your novels. I love them, especially Arus Amman. It was amazing. So, Fadi, the first thing I'd like to ask you is to tell us about your most recent novel. What is it about, and how was the process of writing it?
Yes. The first, thank you, Natasha. I'm so happy to be on your podcast. So happy. Thank you for the nice introduction for me. And I will tell you about my latest book. It's called Amal ala al-Ard. It's Hope on Earth. It's a sequel for my second book, which was Heaven on Earth. That it was published in 2014, and the Arabic one and the English got out in 2017. In Heaven on Earth, and also I continued in Hope on Earth, to imagine a nearby future when science defeats aging. So, Heaven on Earth, the setting is in 2091, like about 70 years from now. But the sequel is after 100 years from now. Towards the end of the first book, there is a decision that is made by Heaven, Jannah, where she votes for controlling aging, old age, to ban old age altogether. So after 30 years, we follow the consequences of this decision on the life of her children, Amal and Omar. Yeah.
Okay. I see. So this is a fascinating idea, especially now there's a lot of talk about like not anti-aging but living longer, right?
Longevity,
And there's lots of doctors that refer longevity, like Peter Atiyeh and others. And I was wondering how this concept translate in the Arab world. It's the Arab world. It's conservative religious I mean, we don't want to stereotype, but in general. And the idea of beating aging, how was it accepted in the society among your readers?
Yes, actually, the whole genre of science fiction is very niche in the Arab world. Like you remember when I first published
Correct,
the first
yeah.
novel, The Bride of Amman, people wanted me to write a sequel for The Bride of Amman. It was very social, about social issues. So when the Heaven on Earth came out, people were surprised, and it didn't receive the same reception as The Bride of Amman. But then after a few years now, because people started reading about these topics now, where the media caught up on covering stories about a new medicine, new supplement that will increase aging, like science is very close to defeat aging. So people became more interested in the concept. And I was surprised when I was in Jordan last month, because I did the book launch event, and then I had a book discussion with Muna Hamza. She had a book club for ladies. There were around 30 ladies in the book club, and they are middle age, like in their 50s and 60s, and all of them they read it and they loved it. Although some of them they told me that they never liked science fiction, but reading this one was different. It
Mm.
opened their eyes. They liked it and they enjoyed it, and they started thinking about the things that I tackle in the book, all the ideas that I present in it.
Interesting. I want to go back to the concept of science of Arabic science fiction novels.
Yeah.
So lately, I think the past few years, when I go back to Amman and I go to like bookshops there,
Mhm.
I started noticing more science fiction books than before. And I usually talk to the bookseller to recommend the latest Arabic books because I don't find them here in the US. And he recommended a number of science fictions. So, why do you think science fiction was not traditionally accepted in the Arab world? And is the tide shifting? Is there more acceptance of science fiction now, and why?
I really hope that things are changing and that people start reading more science fiction. I'm not sure if this is the case or not. I'm trying. I really like to find more Arabic science fiction novels to read, but there's only few of them, right? So, and even I got an idea to start a publishing house focus on translating science fiction to Arabic and
Mm,
publishing original Arabic science fiction. I think it's very important because the trend in the Arabic novel, as you know, it's more about historical fiction. So it has been in the past 20 years all
yeah.
about historical fiction. This is the trend. People love reading about history. But we have been living in our history for a long time. So I think we need to start imagining the future so that we can contribute to it.
Yeah, that's fascinating. Do you think the fact that the society is traditional in general, that's why they kind of shy away from experimentation in fiction, or maybe not? I mean,
Yeah, yeah.
your analysis.
Probably in general, yes. I mean, we had when we grew up, our society was a closed society before the internet came and opened everything. So people in
Hmm.
like traditionally we're conservative, and but I
Yeah,
hope that things are changing and they start accepting different ideas. But because also the religious aspects of things, lots of people don't accept the new ideas that they might perceive opposing their religious beliefs. So this is one thing to think about. Yeah.
yeah. So one of the things that are unique about you is that you push the envelope and you discuss racy topics in the region, including sexuality, female sexuality, which is a topic not very few people talk about it. Also, gender identity, gender expression, sexual identity. So, like in your first book, you had a gay character and how the gay character had to get married to a woman because that was his the only choice that he had. I remember I can't remember if second or your third novel where there was a lot of discussion about female sexualities and female sexual needs, and these are topics that are still considered taboo in the Middle East.
Mhm.
So how did you get the courage to discuss them, and were there any repercussions?
Yes, actually, when I started, as you remember, I started on my blogging. So this is how I started to write. And at the
Yes.
time, yeah, in 2006, I think I started to write on my blog. I, I I actually started to write because I wanted to talk about issues related to sexual freedoms and body rights because everything was censored at the time. And
Yeah.
then the internet came and blogging came, and suddenly we have this space of freedom that we don't have to go, there's no obstacles between us. So we can just write and publish to the public, and people can read it. And at the time, all the spotlights were on the bloggers. So I called
Yeah.
my blog the Arab Observer at the time, so I didn't know how people would perceive what I write about. So I had my identity was hidden at the beginning, But then I wanted the readerships. So I started telling my friends that this is my blog, so read it. And then I started going to bloggers' meetings and making connections with them, contacts with them. And then everyone knew that I was the one writing this behind this blog. And I started to write in English. So I had, and talking about these topics, and then I found out that I got so much support at the time. Probably because people who read my blog at the beginning were English speakers from West Ammanis who are more exposed to
Okay.
the West.
Okay.
So, but also I had lots of opposition as well. So we had lots of heated debates on my blog at the time. And then I reached to a point where I felt that these topics needs to be discussed in Arabic, not just in English. So I started to write in Arabic because even
Okay.
in Oman, if you read an English magazine, if even if it's printed and published in Jordan, if you read any English magazine, you will find the language, the mentality behind it is much open, much more accepting and tolerant. But if you read any Arabic magazine, you will
Mm.
have the same words, the same mentality. So I started to write in Arabic, and then I found out that I write better in
Okay.
Arabic, of course. And then after a few years of blogging, I thought I also wanted to be in a novel, in traditional media. So I wrote
Okay.
The Bride of Amman, the first book, and like people loved it. Like they were telling me, now you talked about the elephant in the room that no one talks about. So
Yeah.
yeah, so that encouraged me. And then, but then things haven't progressed much in Jordan in the past 10 years, and now censorship is even more than before. Like when I published Layla after
Yeah.
probably 6 7 years, it was banned from entering Jordan. And when I went to the publication department and asked, he told me, like, Fadi, I don't know how the Bride of Amman passed. If it was up to me, I would have banned it. But it passed. I don't know how. And people read it.
Oh,
So,
wow.
yeah. But Laila, we can't allow it to enter.
Until now, Layla is not allowed in Jordan.
Actually, yeah, yes. Well, what they told me that if you print a book in Jordan, you can print it and distribute it to bookshops without asking for the permission from the publication department. But if you print it outside Jordan and you wanted to ship it to Jordan, you have to ask permission to enter. So at the beginning, I had an Egyptian publisher,
Ah.
and that's why they didn't allow us to get it inside, to import it. But then I changed to Al Ahliya publisher, and then now it's available.
It is available in Jordan?
It is available, yes, yeah,
Ah.
yeah.
And has there been any backlash from people who read it
Uh,
online? I mean, as authors, you know, like we.
yeah,
I mean, I always get yelled at, which is, I think, part of part of the career that we chose. So it's fine. We get used to it. We get a thicker skin.
that's
So, what
true.
has there been any backlash in Jordan? And
Uh, no, not so much, not so much. Probably because it didn't have the
interesting.
chance,
Okay.
because it was banned at the beginning. It didn't have the chance to be widely read like The Bride of Amman. So maybe that's the thing, or maybe people shy about talking that they read this book because it's Layla is a sexual dominant woman.
Mm.
And there are some explicit sexual scenes, so probably some people read it, but we don't want to say that they read it.
But the book was translated into English, correct?
Correct. Yes. Yeah. As Layla.
Layla. It was translated. And how did it do in English?
Uh, it's okay. It's fine.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, of all your books, and you have a lot of books in that translated in many languages. So, congratulations. I wish I had your discipline to write. And you still think The Bride of Amman was the most selling of all your books?
Yes, of course. Yes, it is. I don't know why. Maybe it's because it's the first one,
Yeah,
but
that was my question. Why? Why do you think of all
yeah,
your books the
yeah.
and it's still now? I mean, people still talk about it.
Yes, there is magic behind it. I don't know what is it. What's the magic behind it? Because I know like people who start reading for me. If they start reading by reading Layla, they would have Layla as their favorite book. If they start reading for me, Heaven on Earth, Jannah al Ard, it will be their favorite book.
Yeah.
But probably because the Bride of Amman is the first one, and people start reading for me by reading the Bride of Amman. That's why, probably that's the reason. Yeah.
Yeah. So you're like a marketing genius. Let me say, I've been following your marketing methods, and I learned a lot how you market your work, how you talk about it. And one of the things that I really like about you is your transparency. You're very open about struggles. You're very open about writing struggles, personal struggles, work struggles, and you're also open about criticism. So
Mm.
I noticed sometimes you would actually highlight a negative feedback and you would discuss it. And you're like one of the few authors that actually do that. And I love that about you because some authors, they will only share, like, I got a 5-star review on this. And nobody shares the negative
Of
feedback, which is an integral part of the writing journey.
course.
So, how did sharing the negative feedback help your journey as an author? For me, like, I even liked you even more because I realized you're real. You're not just promoting the good stuff. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
So how
Actually,
did sharing that help you?
I mean, it helps to get different opinions from people if they agree. I mean, some comments, you get sometimes negative comments that just means to say the book is really bad, it's terrible, nothing in it is good. So it's not constructive criticism, right? But sometimes they give feedback,
Yeah.
and when I share it, and then if I have more than one person agree with the feedback, then it means that there is something in it, right? Something that I can learn from and change probably.
Yeah.
But also I have learned,
Correct. Yeah.
because like it's hard to satisfy everyone. So people will not agree on something. They will never agree on anything
Yeah.
actually.
That's true.
And yeah, if I go and read now the reviews on the Bride of Amman, and you see the different opinions of people, you will be like surprised. Like everyone has different intake, different angle. Everyone sees things in a different way. So I usually try to get different opinions. So, and if I hear the same comment several times, then I would think about it more and see and think maybe they have a point here or not.
So I want to go back to your marketing efforts. As I said, I learned a lot from you. I just always watch what you do and I try to emulate it. And where did you get the most engagement or the most success? Like, what is your favorite marketing method that works for you specifically, especially because most of your readers, I would assume, are in the Middle East?
Mm. Probably connecting with people. I would say at the beginning it was the blog. It was
Okay.
the platform where I got the most exposure from. But then it's connection. So I try to. It's very important to have book events when a new book come out. Even though, like, if you
Mm,
talk online, if you do whatever you do online, it's essential to have this core readership eh, that comes to an event and actually buy
yeah.
them. It's very hard to, like, I don't know if it's hard or easy to sell online. You need to spend lots of money on ads. Like if you have, or if you want to sell organically, it's not. Facebook and Instagram, they limit the organic reach no matter how many followers you have. So you have to spend
Yeah.
on paid ads. And because I don't sell the books on my platform, so I usually rely on the publisher. So I think I need to work on that, to have it on my website and start working on that, do digital marketing for the books on my website. That may be something that I need to explore. But for now, I think it's word of mouth and doing the events, to have like people reading the book, so that they would, if they like it, they would be the ones who will promote it for you.
So, how do readers connect or find you online? What is the channel where readers talk to you about your books?
Yeah.
Give you comments. Where is that? I mean, the reason I ask these questions because there's a lot of aspiring writers
Mm.
that listen to this podcast. So I always like to get some tips that would help them.
Yes, of course. So I'm on all social platforms, but mainly my blog, my website, where I write about my blog, my books, and also Instagram. Oh, I have a Facebook page. I have
Mm, okay.
probably Instagram, as you said before, that it's now the most important platform, social media platform where you can promote your books. Probably TikTok, but I haven't worked much on TikTok. Maybe it's a good platform to explore.
Yeah, I started doing some TikTok here and there. It's
Okay.
interesting. You get higher reach
Okay.
than Instagram, but Instagram has a more loyal, but has more loyal followings.
Mm,
So TikTok people just see your video and then they move on,
that's
right? They
yeah.
keep scrolling. They don't
Okay.
usually come back.
Mm,
Instagram, the same people.
mm,
So maybe TikTok, uh, you'll have more like reach, but are they loyal? That
mm,
is, are they that engaged that they will gonna keep coming back? So that's
mm.
something to think about because our time is limited. Where should we spend most
Yeah.
of our time on?
Yeah. Yeah. That's true. That's true.
So, Fadi, what does the future hold? What are you working on now?
Well,
What's
actually,
because I know from your social media posts you're always working on a new book.
no, actually now I'm on a break, so I didn't start writing anything new.
Okay. Okay.
No, yeah, it was a stressful several months in the past few months, so I took a break. Now I'm free, so I'm thinking about my next book. I'm thinking about writing another sequel for Hope on Earth, so it will be a third book in this series.
Mm,
So it might be the book to write, the next book to write, but I still didn't decide. Maybe I'll take a break, have another story, and then go back because I like it. I like Heaven on Earth, and I like Hope on Earth, and I like all the ideas that's happening. And now the all everything that's happening in AI is fascinating and it's scary in a way. And there's lots of things to think about and to explore and to write about actually. So
mm, yeah, that's true. Because you were one of the first people that talk about the issue of longevity, and you
mm,
started talking about it like way before it became mainstream. So I,
mm,
I found that like fascinating how you immediately jumped on it, especially in Arabic. So yeah, I see why you would go to the sequel, and which is interesting. Do you think now sequels are a better way to sell books rather than a standalone novel? Because like I'm personally working on a sequel as well,
mm,
and you know maybe because it's a better way to sell books, but also just to get more loyal readership.
mm.
So where are we in the terms of sequels, especially in the Middle East and in among your target audience?
Actually, for me, the motivation wasn't about selling more books, although I'd like to have more books sold. But the motivation was because I had feedback from people who read the first one and they loved it a lot. So I wanted
Okay.
as a treat for them for the second one
Ah,
because some of them were like, "This is the best book I have
okay.
ever read." So one of them actually, Zaid Bawab, Zaid Bawab, he wrote the film script for Heaven on Earth, for the book, an entire film script. And
Ah, he
he,
did. Ah, really?
yes, and
Ah.
he was awarded a fund to develop the script from the Royal Film Commission. And now he's thinking how to tailor it maybe
And
to it.
when is the film coming out?
It's still because he's looking for funds to do the film, the actual film. So he's exploring options
Ah, okay.
either to do it
Okay.
as a TV series or as a movie. So these things motivated me. Like, okay, like people love it to that extent. one of the readers, she has a tattoo here,
Okay.
Jannah, a tattoo. She showed me a tattoo on
Oh,
her.
wow. Okay.
Yes, and she told me like she wants to name her child Jannah. So these kinds of
Oh,
feedback,
wow. It's a
yeah,
nice name, actually.
exactly, it's a nice name. So it made me want to write the sequel, and then I had these different ideas about in the sequel
Mm,
that I wanted to explore. In the sequel, I didn't mention that when I talked about the book earlier. I had this idea: once they defeat aging and people stop dying from old age, so the human life will be indefinite. And then, so religious people start asking, when are we going to get punished or rewarded for our good deeds or bad deeds?
yeah.
So, and then some
Yeah.
extreme religious groups come up with a solution actually, and they come up with an algorithm. They make
Oh.
a chip here with the hologramic, angel, the angels that we have on our shoulders who write that right, and this with now
Oh,
art-
yeah.
with
Yeah,
artificial.
good.
Yes, in the future with artificial intelligence, they can actually read your thoughts and your actions, and they can measure it if it's a good or bad, if it is with the teaching of your religion or not. And then at one point, because they can't die, but they have to get punished or rewarded. So what they do after suddenly the algorithm also picks you, and it put you into a sleep mode for 100 years, and in a VR where you can live and experience like being in heaven or being in hell. So this is how you get rewarded or punished.
Oh, wow. Oh, wow. This is like the series Black Mirror. If
Yeah,
you watch Black Mirror, it's
yeah,
very
yeah,
similar, very
exactly.
similar
So now,
concept.
yeah,
Wow, that's fascinating.
technology is opening so many things in front of us. We're becoming so much powerful, so we can do lots of horrible things or lots of good things. So, and that's why it's important
Yeah.
to science fiction to
Wow.
work about horrible scenarios that might happen.
Yeah. Have you ever thought about or explored self publishing? And where are we when it comes to self publishing in the Arab world?
Yes, actually, I explored that with Ibra Kushtuban when it first came out. It was because I published it in 2020, and
Okay.
it was the COVID year, and most of the publishers were not functioning, they're not
Okay.
replying, and I didn't want to go through the process of sending my manuscript and wait for a publisher. So I decided to do that. At the time, we had Jamalon.com, and they started doing print on demand service. So I was happy to explore
Okay.
that, and I worked with a designer, with an editor, so I had the book ready, and I uploaded to their website, and then I asked for 10 copies, and next day I had them. So it was nice. I started promoting the book,
Okay.
but then after a few months, people were telling me it's not available on Jamanon. And when I asked them, they said because they had an issue with supplying the paper. So because they imported the paper from China, so they
Mm.
didn't have the paper to print the book. And so then I signed with the traditional publisher. I signed with Al
Ah.
Ahliya, and then I had it published, traditional publisher. But now, then Jamanon, now they're not in business anymore. You know that they stopped the operating.
Ah.
Yeah.
No, I didn't. What
They stopped.
about why did they stop operating? Do you know?
Yeah, I
Do you
don't
know
know what's
why? So it's a
happening.
supply issue or
I think they tried
okay.
to expand very fast, so they had lots of money, and then they didn't know how to manage things, and then it didn't work out for them. Although they were the largest online bookseller in the Arab world, but they couldn't sustain the business.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, yeah.
That's too bad. What about using Amazon KDP? Because Amazon they're not gonna run out of paper. So, would you explore Amazon for?
Yeah, right. I'm not sure for the
For
Arabic version. I tried that as a PDF, but print version, someone told me maybe I need to work with it. So we have the format in the Arabic format, like the I don't know how to arrange the PDF so that when it's printed out, it's printed out correctly, because it doesn't support, I think, Arabic
Yeah.
books. Yeah,
Publishing? It doesn't? Okay. Something
yeah,
to explore.
yeah.
So where do people find your books now? If
So
I want
now,
to go find, if some, for
yes,
example, people who are listening now.
yes. So the English ones are available on Amazon and different other websites
Okay.
online. The Arabic ones also available on Nil Wafurat, عصير الكتب, والراقون. Now there are several Arabic online platforms. In bookshops now, the publisher and the best distributor is Dar Al Ahliya, so it's available in Amman, in the bookshops in Amman, in Jordan actually. And they go to book fairs in the Arab world. They take the books with them, but they're not distributed in other countries, as I know. Well, actually, I found the last one here in Abu Dhabi. I found it in California the other day in Abu Dhabi, and probably in Dubai it's available.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah.
So any final thoughts, Fadi, before we conclude?
Yes, and also I think if they prefer audiobooks, The Ride of Amman and Layla available as audiobooks in English. In Arabic, on Storytel, I have Arus
Oh,
Amman.
where? On Audible?
Yeah, on Audible, The Bride of Amman
Oh,
and Layla.
nice. Okay.
Yeah. And the Arabic ones, Arus Amman and Jannah al Ard, available on Storytel. And Ibra Kushtuban available
Okay.
on South Podcast.
Oh, they do Audible. They do audiobooks.
Yes, yeah. Actually, South, they started this project.
Oh.
I'm not sure if they're going to continue, but they picked my book and another book. I don't remember the name of the other book, and they launched last year. So I don't know if they added to their library of books. Yeah, but actually, I enjoyed this
Well, Fadi,
experience.
this.
Yeah, because I wanted to say that the Arabic audiobook for Ibra Kushtuban is narrated by Lana Nasser. Do you know her? She's amazing Jordanian actress, and her voice is amazing. So she did like a radio drama. So it's a very nice experience to listen to it.
Oh, that's nice. Yeah, sure. I'll check it out. Yeah,
Yeah,
I love audiobooks. I listen to a lot of audiobooks when I walk my dogs, and so that's fun.
yeah. I remember
So
you wrote a
this
feature
has been
about it.
fascinating, Fadi. About audiobooks. Yeah,
Yes,
yeah.
last year. Yeah,
Because was it last year? I mean, I consume a lot of books
yeah.
between audio and reading and Kindle. I mean, that's the only way I can read so many books is because I keep changing the platforms.
Mm.
I cannot just depend on like one before I go to bed and read. That's not enough because
Mm.
it's my career, right? So
Right.
I have to
Yeah.
find other ways to consume it.
That's good. Amazing.
So yeah. So Fadi, thank you very much. This has been amazing. People can find your books, as you said, on Amazon or Neil Furat and other, and also on audio. And thank you very much for your time and best of luck with your next work. And for anyone who's listening or watching, thank you for spending this time with us. And until we meet again.
Thank you, Natasha. I really enjoyed this talk with you.
Thank you for tuning in to Read and Write with Natasha. I'm your host, Natasha Tynes. If today's episode inspired you in any way, please take the time to review the podcast. Remember to subscribe and share this podcast with fellow book lovers. Until next time, happy reading, happy writing.